What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 342.2, the Golf Report with Tipton head coach Jason Bales, co-hosted by Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call leader sports editor Michelle Garmon, as we look ahead to the girls golf season, which begins Friday for practice and Monday for the first match. We will have a girls golf report every Friday from now until the end of the season. Every Friday at 5 o'clock, we will look back at the week that was and name our golfer, team, and performance of the weeks. We will also have all kinds of other features. Again, Fridays at 5 p.m., please tune in for the Central Indiana Sports Report's Girls Golf Report, Fridays at 5. And thanks so much to Tipton Municipal Golf Course for hosting.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Tipton Girls Golf head coach Jason Bales and Michelle Garmon, sports editor of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call leader, here to preview the Tipton Blue Devils season and talk a little bit about area golf. Welcome back to the podcast, Jason.
Thanks for having me back. It's been a while, but I'm back, so I'm enjoying it.
One of our most frequent guests that we've had on the podcast, Michelle.
Yes, it is, and it's great because Jason makes himself very valuable. He, I always tell people what makes Jason such a really good. There are like three things that make Jason a great coach. One, he's extremely organized, and so, details don't slip by him. Two, he's great at promoting not just his sport, but he's great at promoting kids, and not just his players, but if there are players on other teams or other athletes in the area, he'll promote them too. He's really great about it. And third, but this is probably the most important, he cares. He cares about each player. He cares about each student he has. He wants their experience to be the best. He wants to guide them when they want guidance, but he won't force it on them. He cares. And Jason has always cared from the time since I have known him. And I covered him when he was a student at Tri-Central.
You were young once?
Yes, he was. But the best thing was I got to really know Jason is when he started getting into coaching at Tri-Central, and he would call in and send in results of his games and different things like that. But from all of that, he cares. Because when he would talk basketball, it was never about him. It was about his kids and what this kid did and how they'd improved and things like that. So, folks, if you're a parent of a Tipton athlete and you have Jason Bales as your coach, you are very fortunate.
And coaches, you can learn a lot.
Well, I appreciate that. If you ask my wife, I'm not sure the organized part will probably be agreed upon. And if you looked at my desk at work right now, well, we'll just ignore that part.
Chaotic
so it's a little bit of chaotic. But if you move something, I'm going to know. But no, appreciate that. So.
Yeah,
also the girls basketball coach we haven't mentioned on the podcast.
I know, and I love it. One of my favorite stories I did was last summer. Was it last summer or 2 summers ago? Maybe 2 summers ago that I did. I called him said the Jack of all trades, Jason of all trades, because the guy is amazing. When I say organized, he's a husband, he's a father, he's a coach, he's an official. He officiates football. He used to do baseball, but gave that up last year to help with softball.
Yeah, temporarily, so I can be dad more. I got girls getting ready to come up through the ranks. So.
And hey, folks, he's the president of the Indiana Golf Coaches Association, correct?
Yeah.
As well now, so.
Plus full-time Fever and Pacers fan.
Yes.
And Rays. You went to a Rays game last week.
Yes.
That was fun.
That was.
Michelle and I enjoyed that.
It'd be nice if they would actually win when I go. But that's another story for another day, I guess.
Michelle and I enjoyed it.
So.
All right, Coach. Let's talk girls golf. The season begins officially today, the day we're releasing this podcast. And first, let's talk about your team, your expectations.
Well, I think the expectations are pretty high this year for us.
Well, we know you have two really good ones.
Yes, we'll start with our two regional qualifiers from last year, and also state finalists in Josie Butler and then Kennedy Lancaster. Two great leaders that I anticipate them continuing to do that. I know they've had a wonderful summer out on the links. They've played a number of courses, been very involved in that whole process, which is a testament to them. In the past, I've done a lot more at the course here in terms of summer workouts because that type of motivation hasn't always been here for the girls' side. This year it has, and which is good and bad because I'm not fully sure what I'm going to see come Friday because I haven't seen them as often as I have maybe in the past. But the one thing I know, especially with those two, I'm going to be ecstatic when I do see them on Friday and what their summer is going to create for the fall season. So, and like I said, that's a testament to them. It's not a surprise at all to me. I know both those kids really well. I've had them in class. I've had them on a court. I've had them on a course. I know who they are. So, I'm so thrilled for them and what they're going to do. I know Josie just signed to play at UIndy. I know she's really excited about that.
Had her on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
So, there's a lot of big things happening, and I don't foresee in the near future. I think Kennedy may be starting to work her way through that realm. So it's exciting.
I talked to Kennedy out here at the golf course on Tuesday. It was great. It was the first time I've seen her a couple times, but it was the first time we had a chance to really have a good conversation. And I know she's very excited about the upcoming season. Sure. So was Josie, because I saw her yesterday morning. Or on Tuesday morning as well, and they're excited about golf starting, so that it makes you, and they're really looking forward to it. Both of them think that could be a special season for the Lady Devils. You guys could win yourselves a conference championship and maybe challenge LaPel for that third spot of getting out at the golf sectional.
I think we've definitely had some over summer changes that will help for that. We acquired a move in Presley Cherry, which as an opposing coach is not only a good golfer but just a quality kid, just a really, really good kid. I always,
love the family, and we all like the family.
I mentioned last year, I always felt like I compared with Hamilton Heights in a lot of matches, and we play with them, against them a lot, and I've always appreciated what they do down there. But Presley was always one that we were going against, and now she's going to be one of our Lady Devils, and we're real excited about that. She is another one who has also put a lot of time in this summer, and I, as a coach, I haven't seen her play yet. Other than just in that opposing role, so
what you've heard,
but it gives us a nice 1-2 now 3 punch. We will have Ashlyn Morgan back again this year.
Yeah,
a lot of
was
change.
Telling me yesterday that Ashlyn has worked. She's taken lessons from Blake Hoover all summer long. So
yeah, and she's had a lot of things going on this summer, but not nothing in a bad manner. It's just real excited to see where her work has put her in this process. And then currently our fifth player is Bryn Sylvie, which up and decided that she was going to play golf. She might have got a little bit of convincing from me, but I'm very excited to have her. I think she's going to really enjoy the game, but not only that, she is a really good athlete. Another quality kid that I think can really contribute to our program, and I can see them being very. I can see her being a big part of what we're going to do. So it's really exciting in our terms. Right now we have 6 players that have signed up to play, and it's 6 nice. I love. The 6th player will be Lauren Jackson, who's brand new. She wanted to pick up a new sport and just learn how to play. And I've always been one that just love working with kids anyway. So having someone who doesn't know all the bad habits is probably a good thing. So I'm very excited about that as well. So, but again, like going back to our team aspect, really excited of what we can do. I think the additions, in addition to what we already knew what we were going to have coming in, makes us a contender for the conference. Obviously, Logansport is really solid, as is Rensselaer. Rensselaer will be playing on their home course this year. Another fun 2.5-hour trip up to play a golf course.
Yeah, but hey, but it's
So-
but here's the thing, and that you're going there you're going there on Tuesday,
Yeah,
right? So you will actually play on that course twice this season.
Yeah, it was not intended that we were going to go up there August 5th, because it's a long trip up there. That's 4.5 hours on a bus.
Are you just going to
There
spend the
and
night
back.
somewhere? Because on Monday you're at Seeger, so are you going to just try to stay in Lafayette and then take the kids on up?
I don't know. I don't know.
Tuesday?
That's
Go to Indiana Beach.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's close.
I know.
It's
There's
I'm not
more
sure how
going
we're going to
on.
handle that. It'll be the first time we've played up there other than a conference meet. But I think that's what we're gonna learn, that challenge. I think it's great for us to see the course. In the past, we've always done practice rounds at
And
courses.
Illinois. You'll also be able to see Illinois.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
We might be closer to Chicago than Indianapolis too. So, but I've always been a fan of like practicing our course before we play it in a conference, like those big tournaments. This year we're going to get to play it competitively before we get up. So I think it's going to be a worthwhile trip for us to go up there and do that. So again, I'm really excited about what we can do. That first week of the season in terms of 18-hole matches has always been brutal. It's not going to be as brutal this year because we're going to go Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. So then we're going to have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Wednesday's kind of a different day. That's the first day of teacher orientation, but it's also something called Blue Devil Kickoff. Our kids are not only good golfers, but they're leaders in our community and in our school. We have a couple of them that are doing some roles in terms of orientation, leadership. So always encourage that. So I'm very excited about what they're going to do. Then Thursday, another teacher work day. They get a kind of a practice day, and then Friday's their first day of school. So we're rolling right into the end of summer here. And
Let's talk about your sectional. Obviously, you have some of the best teams in the state.
our sectional's brutal. I was just talking to a good buddy of mine who's the coach at Eastern. He's also on my football crew. So we talk quite frequently. He's talking about, he's like, I got a legit chance to win my sectional this year. And I was like, we used to be in that sectional, Michael. He's like, I know, I'm glad you're not in it anymore. It's a catch-22 for us. I absolutely love playing down at Harbor Trees. I think it's a beautiful course. We play against the state's best. Two of the teams year in and year out are Noblesville's probably going to, I think half of them live on that course, if not 75% on them. 75% of them, they're going to shoot really well there. Hamilton Southeastern's going to shoot really well. And then there's the 2 or 3 or 4 of us that could find our way into that third qualifying spot, which I think from a standpoint of competition, to say that you got out of the Noblesville sectional would be a hell of an honor, be quite honest with you. And that's kind of what I'm hoping our work ethic's going to be this year. We're still going to have fun. We're going to be who we are. But at the same time, I think we can have that mindset that every match we're trying to prepare for a lofty goal of being in that third place. And if we can somehow magically figure our way into 1 higher or maybe 2 higher, that would be great. But I think that would be just phenomenal. But we definitely are in a position with Lapel. Fishers, you just never know what you're going to get from that size of a school. They've found their way in there. And you just never know. Frankton last year had a really, really good season. They could be in that mix. So you just never know with the schools that feed into that sectional what you're going to get. But I think we're contenders to make a regional as a team, which would be the second time I've had that honor, or third time. This would be the third time we've done that. So,
Hey, Jason, there's also one meet on your schedule that I think is going to be interesting. It's going to be challenging.
Sure.
Because they're playing in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
again, and that's at the Legends in Franklin, which is links golf. And
Yes.
not very many male golfers do links golf. The females, I'm going to guess Kennedy, maybe Joe, and maybe Josie are probably the only two that maybe have any experience on a links golf course.
Possibly, yeah. Camping is similar to a links golf course. I think that would be the one that primarily I think we would see. I can't remember where it was at, but we played a course that was a links style golf course, and it's very unique. It's just distance isn't as much of a factor of finding good
driver.
guys.
You want to leave the driver in your bag more often on a
Yeah.
links course than what you do on another type of course.
Yeah, and it's just an understanding. I think for us, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to that because when they say it's a Hall of Fame, I think there's 18 to 21 teams that are going. Most of the top 20 teams are going to be invited, and we have been asked to join that field. So usually includes your state finalists from the year before. So really excited about that. And it's a great challenge. I think it's a great physical challenge in terms of the course you play, but I think it's also a great mental challenge. You know when you step foot on the tee box, the players that you're with are probably going to be pretty good. It's a great field. It's like I said, it's an honor to be just included in that mix. But I think again with the changes we've had, I think we can compete in that field. Are we going to win it? That would be a stretch, I think. But I know we can compete, and I think when you play competitive golf, you play better golf, and the pace of play is going to be a wonderful thing down there. And the best part is the Legends is excited to have us. I think that's really something that I want to call out on, is that courses that love to have us and love to host the youth, because that's the game. That's the growth of the game coming into play. So really excited about that one. I'm glad you mentioned that. So
yeah, when I was looking over the schedule, I love it. I counted up 7, including the conference, 7 18-hole invitationals. Yep. And then you have some maybe then you have a handful of 3 4-way meets.
Yep.
And then then very few just dual matches. Of course, one is, again, you get a host Westfield. You seem to do that every year.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing that you have going. I think it's great that they are willing to come here, knowing that you're going to have a golfer or two that belongs, but that they could take their third group of 5 and get those to fill in to take off their third group of 5 to fill in for you and have a strong team.
Absolutely. So. And Westfield, they're close. It's a proximal match for us.
Yeah.
But every one of those kids from the time I first started till now is that they're just top-notch kids that respect the game of golf. Their coaches respect the game of golf. They respect the opponent. They will come out here. They fix their ball marks. They rake sand traps. They play the game the right way, and that's what I want my kids to understand this year. And I have kids this year that understand that probably better than most.
What I also like about when Westfield comes, the parents, they're so kind and generous to help find balls for your golf. But not only that, but I've heard them, and in girls golf you hear this a little bit more, give maybe just a little bit of tips, not stringing, but or something as they're going after a kid's head and say, hey, you might want to check the helpful, polite kind of, not instruction, but they're really good about and cheering on and complimenting somebody on a nice shot. I mean, they're just a really good group of parents too.
Well, and I think that's a direct reflection of those who lead them. When I first started, it was Trevor New. Trevor, great guy. Every time I see him, I always say hi, ask him how his kids. I know his kids are playing basketball and doing other things, but always great to hear what he's doing. Of course, when his kids started to grow up a little bit, he had to downplay a little bit, and so now it's Josh Bryant, and Josh is he's a former president of the Golf Coaches Association. He's probably one that's the most responsible for me taking on another role that I love piling stuff on myself, so he's probably the one that's most responsible for me doing that. But I think the way they handle themselves there is a direct reflection even the parents, is a direct reflection of those who lead them. And the kids are the same way. The girls are amazing. So, again, we put them on the schedule not only because they're a top tier opponent and we want to play against those type of teams, but they do things the right way. And our kids need to understand that, because if you look at this and even as what's going on behind me, that's great, and you hear all the excitement, people come out here, like our patrons enjoy coming out and watch that match too, because they appreciate it. It's good golf on their golf course, so in a place they call home. So we're real excited about that.
And that people probably need to know that there are, and Charlie Smith, a longtime golfer, he's in his mid-80s. Mm-hmm. He's a great golfer here. But you come out to Tipton for a girls golf match, and you'll see Charlie in a cart. If Tipton's got a good golfer or two, and he's following along and watching, and you'll see other of the older gentlemen that like to get out there and appreciate good golf, and they will follow.
And I'm going to say this too, because I haven't played with Jack Miller all year, and every time I'm out here and I get to play with Jack's like, "How's the golf team going to be this year?" And it's always a wonderful conversation. Of course, Jack had a lot invested when his time as our pro here, and really invested in not only boys golf but girls golf here.
Yes, he did, because his daughter. He helped get the
Abigail,
girls golf started here.
So, but just really excited about that match. Our schedule is really quality. We've had to do some tweaking this year. School starting earlier, we was talking to Mike earlier about we in the past 4 years we'd hosted an invite and everyone started school on August 6th this year, so we were unable to host that, so that's part of the reason we picked up Rensselaer. But again, we've got a really good schedule. I feel like we're really top heavy in terms of the first 2 weeks. I think we play like 7 or 8 matches, because we moved the Western match early. The last week of the season, we normally would play Noblesville. They had a conflict in terms of Harbor Trees and getting a match on, so we're just going to do a practice round that week. I think it'll be a good chance for us to go down there, but it leaves us that whole week open to prepare for that sectional. I'm a big believer that especially that last week, you put a match on there that's going to be similar to the conditions that you're going to play in. For example, I don't necessarily want to go play. Oh gosh, I'm just gonna pick a random opponent here. Tri-Central doesn't have a girls golf team. Let's say, or Taylor.
You're adding Rossville, right? Yeah. So that's not somebody that's gonna get you.
But
opponent-wise, get you ready for that.
But not only that, the course. The course conditions that they have. The course setup is very different at Harbor Trees as opposed to Angel Hill Golf Course, or even Chippendale. Chippendale is where our sectional is, which is Chippendale's really, really tight with a lot of out of bounds. Harbor Trees has some out of bounds, but it's not that tight, and it's just the rough. You got to avoid the rough there, and so whereas at Chippendale, you can get the rough, you can still play out of it. It's just going to hinder what things you can do. But Harbor Trees, the rough is
at Chippendale
awful.
At Chippendale, avoiding out of bounds was key. But if you could stay in bounds, you could play. You could recover from just about any kind of lie after you're in your tee shot. But at Harbor Trees, that is different. And even their greens, hole 18, those greens break. Especially the way they, sometimes where they have the pin placement, you can't really read the break that well.
Hole 8, I've told the girls that if you're in the sand trap in front of the green, that's not a terrible place to be, because it's a heck of a lot better than being behind that thing, because you're going to be back in that sand trap when it gets done going down that hill.
That's a good point.
And you mentioned Chippendale, not using the driver. I'll never forget Lucy Quigley shooting a 76 there and played a 4-iron a whole day off the tee. Didn't even touch the driver. You didn't need to,
Right.
So just keep it in play, which is a really important thing. But again, the style of golf and the style of the course is really important, especially those last weeks. You want to make sure you're preparing your kids the best we can, especially for us this year. If that's our goal, that's going to be my goal as a coach, and that's part of my job, is to make sure we have that opportunity. So time will tell whether it's successful or not, but it's not going to be a lack of effort by any stretch.
This is our first of many girls golf reports every Friday on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Who are some of the other teams besides your conference and sectional opponents and players who we should be looking out for this season?
Oh gosh, anyone in Hamilton County? I always feel like their conference is just incredible. I don't want to say it's a hotbed of golf, but
It is.
It's kind of like Muncie and volleyball. Right. So, it has become very competitive there. I think Noblesville, Zionsville, Westfield, all those teams that are your usuals, I think you're going to see them playing in the state finals again at Prairie View. I would not doubt it unless something happens, where they get put in the same regional and they have to, knock themselves out. So I think they have a great shot. Logansport, as far as our conference, I think they have potential to be pretty darn good. It's a solid team up there. They won our conference last year, and I'm not sure. I know Abby does a great job. She also coaches the boys side, which is just phenomenal. She did a fantastic job. So, I think those teams on our schedule are really important. But we play a lot of invitationals. Golf is kind of a strange sport in the fact that in high school it's a team game, so, and the IHSAA really emphasizes that team side, but when you're out there it's an individual sport and You're trying to do the best. No one affects how you play but you, and
it would actually kind of be nice, I think, if the IHSAA did separated it and their teams and then
two different
like
tournaments.
tennis, and have then individuals too, so that because there are individuals because of the way they do it that don't get to go on
track
to the state.
A lot of sports
finals.
should do that.
Yeah, I'm not, like I've said this 100 times. I'm not sure what the right answer is.
I can tell you. You want to know?
I hear that a lot, but I'm really not sure what the right answer is. I respect the idea that that they're pushing the team side of it, because I think that's what it's based upon, the idea of teamwork, and that's a really important aspect of any education-based athletics. Golf is just a different monster, and it's so individualized, and I'd like to see at some point that individual side be more prevalent than the team side, but for now it is what it is, and we all know what the expectations are, so and it's our job is just to try to put us in the best position. But
because I asked somebody once, I said, well, why, I mean, you do more teams, you lessen the individuals, and I said, well, you gotta remember we're going down there as the number of golfers on the course, because I said, why did you lessen the individuals advance, just increase the teams? And they said, well, because of the number. I said, then let's put it, is golf's in the state finals are in the summer, then let's put it 2 different weekends. And let's have the team tournament on one weekend, or through 1 week, and then let's bring the individuals in the next week, or 4 straight days. And maybe that's not all going to be at the same golf course, but there are other golf courses that would be willing to host take one of those tournaments.
That's definitely a discussion we're going to have for now, Jason. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it.
Those are definitely discussions we need to have, Michelle, because I got ideas. Thanks so much.
So, thanks guys.
Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks so much to Jason for joining us out at Tipton Municipal Golf Course as the season begins, as we said, today, Friday, for practice, and the first matches are on Monday. School starts for me Monday. It's an exciting time of year. Thanks everyone for listening. Please share this podcast and let everyone know that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here and talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.